All right, so I gave the old spiel fifth hour and a little bit first hour about what it means to, like, you guys are 1 year away from college. I was gone yesterday. I did post some, notes that were written in the past that, without a verbal description may be tough. But, yes, this is an honors class. I know you're sick of hearing it. But when you get to college, the reality of it is you are going to be more than likely, unless you go to a small school like I did. I went to St. Francis out in Joliet there, and my class ratio to student was like 15 to 1. I mean, student to teacher. It's very unique. So it was more like a high school as far as the more of a better one-to-one relationship where I could get some help. When you go to a big school, that's not going to happen. And in most cases still, even in my small St. Francis, I had to learn a lot out of the book or else I was done. And that was it. So we do have to realize that, you do have to figure some stuff out on your own if you want to prepare yourself for college. And yesterday was a test for that, I guess. You can be mad at me for saying it or not. It's actually the facts. All right, that's exactly what's going to happen when you go to school. So if we can work on that this year, you're actually preparing yourself for the future. With all that being said, I'll go through the whole spiel, my melodious voice on these questions, so that you can hopefully have a better feel. Now, going through the day, and actually mostly with fifth hour, this question kind of mirrors what you have to do in 29, and I think pretty much in 33 and 34, how it's broken down. And I know it's silly, but I remember as a kid, I loved, anyone like Neapolitan ice cream? Like when you were a kid, you like that stuff? One person, that's exactly what I was looking for. Just one person on my side. I remember when I was a kid, you don't know? It's that 3-striped ice cream. You got vanilla, chocolate, and then strawberry. Equal 3 stripes. But I know when I was a kid, our house, like, the vanilla would be left over. Like, we'd literally get a knife and cut, and then, like, most of the vanilla would be left over. So I was more like, if you look at these people here, I was more like Ellen. I liked strawberry the most. I'd take chocolate if the strawberry was gone, and fine, if vanilla was left over, I'll take it. I got to have ice cream at least. So these numbers seem silly, but, that's what you do. You assign a value to stuff. So Marissa couldn't care less. So she's 1 to 1 to 1. I'll take whatever. Laura likes chocolate a little bit better. So I like it like twice as much as the others. So 1 to 2 to 1. And then, the way Ellen could say it is I like chocolate twice as much as vanilla, and I like strawberry 3 times as much as vanilla. So that's a 1 to 2 to 3. Just kind of putting a little thing on there. All right. But I'll take vanilla if I have to. I got to have some sort of ice cream. So now what we do is like what we did on Friday. We put points on this stuff. So Marissa couldn't care less, so her vanilla points, 1 point for every 8 ounces is 8 points. 8 points and 8 points because she doesn't care. Just like on Friday, too. The fair share in her mind, there are 3 people in this scenario. So she should at least get 1/3 of 24 points, or 8 points in her head. I should at least get 8 points in value of the ice cream. And by the way, she should be the one that divides this ice cream because she doesn't care. So she's going to divide it in ways that, she doesn't care as long as she gets 8 points. It's the other 2 that are being a pain. So what do we do about Laura? And what do we do about Ellen? We take the ounces and we make them points based off of their carrying ratios. I think we did something very similar to this on Friday. Laura's a 1 point for every vanilla ounce, 2 points for every chocolate. That gives it a higher weighting. All right, and then 1. And then add up those total points. Her mind, she better get 1/3 of 32 points. She better get a 10 2/3 points or more share. So the weighting of the chocolate, how much she cares about it. Then Ellen's the biggest pain. She likes 1 vanilla, 2 points for every chocolate ounce, 3 points for every strawberry. Her total point value is 48. 1/3 of that is 16 points, a fair share. These are fair share values based off of their caring of stuff. All right, let me stop the video. I lost my thing. Oh, down, or their fair share perception. This is a perception. Of course, there's only 24 ounces. It's not 48 ounces. These are point values just to assign a value to the ice cream per individual. Then, I don't think it says it up here. Marissa is the divider. Now, there is a question in 21. 21, D and E. I want you to go back and do that last. That's where answers may vary. All right, that is a little bit tough, but once you get a better feel for more direct questions, I think maybe you can do 21 D and E better. Because those are, you come up with your own divisions and what would be fair for the person. Those are kind of like extra credit questions in my mind, for what's going on. These are the portions laid out. Marissa has divided these portions this way. Now, why is Marissa the divider? Because she couldn't what? Care less. She couldn't care less what she ends up getting as long as she gets how many points worth. Or actually, how many ounces? 8, because each ounce is 1 point to her. Notice her portion divisions. Her portion divisions all add up to 8 ounces, which is 8 points in her mind. So that's why she's the divider, but she divides it differently, each one, to see what happens for the other two, and then see if we satisfy their situation. So, and we all kind of want to have a little bit of each, so it's the point of getting Neapolitan. Right? If we wanted all vanilla, then get all vanilla. We want to mix it up a little bit, right? Right, Mr. Samuelis? Who was that? All right. Now, Laura is a 1 to 2 to 1 like ratio. Marissa did portion 1, 4 ounces, 2 ounces, and 2 ounces. In order, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. So here's where this 1, 2, 1 comes from. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. Now I moved on to plate 2 and plate 3 and look at the ounces. See, Laura puts 2 points for every ounce of chocolate. So that's why this middle column, 2 times 2, 2 times 4, 2 times 2. So Marissa does the plates, or the portions. Now we look at what would Laura get for a point value per each plate. What was Laura's fair share point value? What do we have up here? What was her fair share point value? 10 2/3. If she gets less than that, she feels cheated. So which plate is really only good for her? Plate 1, plate 2, or plate 3? Which one's more than 10 2/3?
2.
Plate 2. All you have to do is look. I did the work for you. Okay, then. Ellen is a 1 to 2 to 3. Vanilla, chocolate to strawberry. These are the ounces on each plate. Plate 1 is 4 ounces, 2 ounces, 2 ounces. Plate 2 is 1, 4, 3 ounces. 3, 2, 3 ounces, respectively, for those 3 flavors. For Ellen, she would like either of these 2 plates, but Laura needs plate what? What does Laura need? Plate 2. So Laura gets plate 2. That leaves plate 3 for Ellen, actually, she can't have plate 1. Sorry, I almost screwed up, because what's her fair share division number? 16. It's got to be more than 16 points in her mind. So I know it's strange. I know we couldn't care less about ice cream and doing this, but I wish, as a kid, I wish we had this math. Then I wouldn't get screwed by my sister and brother and have all vanilla when I'm done. Did I just put that online? I'm sorry. You're learning a lot of words this class. All right. And then, of course, Marissa gets 1 because she couldn't what? Care less. So she did the dividing. All 3 plates are good to her. All right, what do you guys like? And then we'll point it out after that. It's dividing up a beach is number 29. This is 29E. This is what you do. 29D is not a chart. But 29A, B, and C is the breakdown just like this, but for beach fair share. So it's emulated the same way. You just get different units that you have to break down, and so on and so forth. And then I thought I put on the notes at first. Read read 4 pages about the 3 brothers. But then after I did that, I cut the reading down and I put it in a way that was structured for me to understand it better so that I could go through it with you, and then maybe you'll feel better. This is just like the ice cream, just with different values, like different labels. Instead of ounces of ice cream, it's what? What am I pointing at right there? Acres. Acres is the point values that we assign to stuff. All right, and then the portions are actually done by Druvin. All right, and I'll show you why Druvin does what he does, which I'm not sure I'll hold you to task how to divide, but I'll tell you how he does it, and then many of you will be able to handle maybe a question like that. But you have these 3 brothers, and you should have read this because I told you to. All right, and they divide up vineyards, woodlands, and fields, and it's 1,200 of each. So then what I like doing was this, putting it like this. This is their point values. So they were made, who do you like best? Right? And I guess Druvin could have said, well, I like the woodlands twice as much as the fields, but I like the vineyards 3 times as much as the fields. I'm just putting something into this. It's a 3 to 2 to 1 ratio for Druvin. It's a 2 to 3 to 1 ratio for Oswald, and it's a 2 to 1 to 3. So luckily it works out this way that they have little different preferences. All right? So that's our, how we can do our math for this. Now, if Druvin is the divider, this is if I held you to task, which I don't think I will. All right, not for points. I think we'll just lay out this stuff. We'd give you this information. But I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. What is their point values? Well, notice everyone has, what are their 3 numbers? How is it all divided out? It's a what to what ratio for all 3 brothers. Well, it's a 3 to 2 to 1 with the 3 and a 2 to 1 being in different spots. Do we agree with that? Right? So wouldn't you agree, just doing Druvin's point values, since the amount of acres for each land is the same, wouldn't they all get the same point value? Right? Because it's still going to be 3 times 1,200 plus 2 times 1,200 plus 1 times 1,200. So all of them would get a grand total of 7,200 points, just they would be in different spots. Right? That's simple math. Divide that by 3. 2,400 points is their fair share value for all 3. So we only do it for Druvin because the other 2 would be the exact same amount of points, just in a different category. So the fair share value, they have to get at least 2,400 points of, land or whatever, but it should at least equal 2,400 or more to feel fairly divided. Okay, now, this is what I mean about given. I tried to write this. I didn't bring my pen home, so I wrote that. It looks like my daughter Lexi wrote that. It's because I used a mouse. 800 AC. So don't pick on me. But the reason I did this is here are the pieces. Just like in the last question, the portions or the plate of ice cream. Piece 1 is just this. 2/3 of the vineyard. 2/3 of the vineyard is 2/3 of 1,200. So I put 800 acres there for you. I did that math for you. Piece 2 is, green might be a bad choice. 400 acres, 1/3 of the vineyards, and 1/2 of the woodlands, which is 600 acres. And then piece 3, blue maybe, is all of the forest and half of the woodlands. So what you see next, and I kind of like doing this, remind you what was Druvin's carrying values. He was a 3 to 2 to 1 vineyards, woodlands, fields. And then what we put here is what was each piece. Piece 1 was just 800 acres. 3 times 800, 2,400. So this is why Druvin divided up the pieces as such, because 400 vineyard acres and 600 woodland acres adds up to what, everybody? What did the first one add up to be, everybody? And then the last one, 2 times 6, 1 times 12, what did that add up to be? So Druvin, which one would he take? 1, 2, or 3? Or does he care? Does he care or not care? Either one that he gets. Does he care or not care? Doesn't care. So he's the divider first. So he divided in a way where the numbers all added up to 2,400. And then let's see what the other brothers have. Now, this isn't the only way he could have divided it. So this is where it gets a little crazy. If I let that out there, it's tough. We'd have to get numbers that add up to 2,400 by dividing up the acres a little bit here and there. There's not only one answer. So I feel like that would be given. I don't want that. I want you to understand that this is what happens maybe in the real world when we have to divide up estates. So everyone's satisfied. And again, remember what we said on Monday. Without bringing in an arbitrator, they're trying to figure this out themselves without having to pay somebody, which would cut into the profits. Or I shouldn't say profits when somebody died. But anyway, let's move on. 2 to 3 to 1. Here's portion 1. Remember, portion 1 was 800 acres. 2 times 8 is 1,600. What's this brother again? Oswald. Does Oswald like piece 1? Yes or no? No. What does that number have to be above? 2,400. So piece 1 would not be an option for Oswald. Okay, 2, 3, 1. 400 acres of vineyards. Remember from that little thing I broke down, and 600 of woodlands. 2 times 400, 3 times 600. 2,600. Would you agree with that? Yes or no? So he would like that. That's fine. And then the last one, 600 of woodlands, 1,200 of fields. Would he like this one? Yes or no? So he would be satisfied with either of these two, not the first one. Okay, so that's the idea how you break this down with the point values. Just like the ice cream. And then the last one, Granger's estate. He's a 2 to 1 to 3. 2 times 800, 1,600. Would he like this? Yes or no? No. What's the number we're looking for, everybody? Say it. 2,400 or? Above. Yeah. All right. 2 to 1 to 3. 2 times 4, 1 times 6. Like it or not like it? Yes or no? No. Uh-oh. We might have to redo this if he doesn't like the last one. All right, so you have to go back to Druvin and say that wasn't divided. No one likes, or Granger doesn't like any of your 3 divisions. But of course, we end up being okay. 1 times 600, 3 times 1,200. Holy crow, 4,200. Like it or not like it? Like it. Okay, now just because he gets 4,200 points worth, you feel like, well, then he got the best deal. It's all about feelings and actually everyone feeling okay about what they got. So Granger's going to feel great. And we go back to here, since Granger has to have this, I feel okay. I got more than 2,400 worth in my mind, what I like. So I'm satisfied with that. And what's Druvin? Druvin couldn't what? Couldn't have cared less. He's the one that divided up the property. So he's like, I liked all 3. You guys ended up liking 2 and 3, so I got 1. All right, and we're all satisfied. That's how this all works out. All right, this is exactly like 29 again. 29E is when you put these charts together after you get your ratios down and go from there. So I like how 29 works out, and then 33 and 34 are very similar. So get the process down and try to figure out what happens there. And everything that we just did and circled up there is written here about how this ended up getting divided out. Okay?